that's good right there. All right, are you guys going to need anything from us? Chopper 2 to base, we're holding just outside the TFR. Do you need anything from us? Now, we've been escorted from the airspace. Got an FBI helicopter and a CPD helicopter in Midway. That's in Midway's airspace. All of news helicopters have been removed. Yeah, that one scene by the park where that engine company is sitting there. Remember the street that dead ends into the park? That's Bishop. So 64th and Bishop, we've got a vehicle that has crashed that was associated with this. So if you tilt down, let's see if we can see a long shot here. Keep going. Yeah, because there's where it, right there. If you push in, you see that T intersection right by the high rise? Now go back up a block. That should be 64th and Bishop right in there. Apparently the vehicle that was involved, there's some more, is that the overhead power line? There's a power line right there. Yeah, don't have, if it's there, it's in an alley or something, because it's not readily out on the street. Now, let's see what we got in there. Because we got the officers from surrounding suburbs, as well as ISP in there. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that'll be where the vehicle is at that was associated with this. sure we're streaming. Anchors are still in place. We'll see what the next set of instructions are. I've received nothing yet. Streaming. Chopper 2 to base on F2. What are we doing, Greg? What's our orders here? Live stream and for us. Live stream for us. All right, live stream to 6:45, and if my mic's hot, I'll just go ahead and talk about it if that's good. All right, just let me know as soon as they're ready to take me, and I'll do some here. All right, very good. Going now. All right, good evening. This is Chris Habermill. We are streaming live on a developing story on the city's south side. We have a police officer from the 7th District that was shot earlier this afternoon, about 5:45 p.m., so getting into the evening hour now. And that police officer was transported to the University of Chicago Medical Center. Their condition is unknown at this hour. As a result, dozens of fellow officers have streamed into the scene now. You're taking a live look as we're streaming this along 64th, either side basically of Ashland Avenue, but predominantly to the west there around Paulina, and also on South Bishop, about 6400 south on there, where it appears that a vehicle that may have been involved in the shooting this afternoon of the police officer has been recovered after crashing. The offender or offenders are still on the loose at this hour, and law enforcement officers from a variety of law enforcement agencies are on the scene right now, both on the ground, on foot, in vehicles, and overhead in a multitude of law enforcement helicopters that have gathered here. This is also a response by the Chicago Fire Department. You can see there's a ambulance that is parked along 64th. It's like a battalion chief's car in front of that, and dozens of police vehicles up and down here from a variety of different agencies. Also, the federal law enforcement arm, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, is out here, and the Chicago Police Department has their helicopter up. Also have a helicopter coming in from Indiana that's also working the airspace here. So we are endeavoring to stay well clear of the active scene down there. There's a lot of law enforcement activity that is going on at the surface, but also airborne here. So bear with us as we turn outside of the restricted area. We're staying outside of Midway's airspace that this is underneath. Also, we've got those law enforcement aircraft that are operating. They are looking for the shooter or shooters, anybody who was involved in this. So police officers have streamed in here from a variety of locations, not just the city of Chicago, but also specially trained tactical officers coming in as part of the mutual aid alarm system, where if an officer is in trouble, you have specially trained officers that are in there. You can see some of the law enforcement aircraft that are out here that are endeavoring to scan the scene. They've got special equipment there, camera units and whatnot, and special infrared units to track offenders at night. So they're providing a top cover for the officers here, and here's going back to a live look of the scene and the neighboring area here, where officers have fanned out looking for the offenders here. Began around 5:45 this evening in the 6400 block of South Paulina. An officer was apparently fired upon by an offender. That officer was transported to the University of Chicago Medical Center. Their condition is unknown at this point, and they are remaining there at this hour. Fellow officers have also gone to the emergency department there to make sure that that officer is doing okay. We're waiting on a statement from the police superintendent to get more information about how that officer is doing at this hour. Again, it's a very dynamic situation. It is developing here, and these officers are not going to rest until they get that offender in custody. And you can see that they have fanned out up and down 64th here. This is the 6400 block about Paulina and also South Bishop, where there was a crash earlier on. Believe that a vehicle that was involved with this shooting has been recovered there. So forensics on the scene have to be brought in to examine that vehicle, process the scene. It is a large area that is cordoned off. There are a lot of officers that are out here. So a lot of the residents up and down 64th Street here obviously are going to be out of their homes for a little while, or at least asked to stay in if they are there, and perhaps being kept out at least temporarily right along where that shooting took place there, because they're looking for evidence, and they're all obviously looking for a dangerous individual or individuals that opened fire and actually wounded a Chicago police officer this afternoon. So again, what you're looking at is 64th Street, and the vast majority of the vehicles that you see parked down there are squad cars. And dozens of officers have streamed in here, answering the call after the officer was shot. Don't know how or where he or she was wounded in relation to potentially having their protective vest. They were taken to the University of Chicago Medical Center, where there is also a squad car that is parked out front of the medical center that is also cordoned off. So that is believed to potentially have been involved in this incident here, may have transported that officer as quickly as possible out of the danger area and over to advanced care. So for those of you who are just joining us, we had a Chicago police officer shot and wounded, 6400 block of South Paulina, earlier this evening about 5:45 p.m. And there's a very large police presence along 64th Street. And as officers learn more information about the location, potential location, suspects that may have been involved in this, they have law enforcement assets that are on the ground as well as in the air, all across block after block down here in every direction. So we're providing you a long shot with our telephoto lens, staying over the Dan Ryan Expressway, looking toward the west, staying out of the way of law enforcement aircraft and operations that are on the ground. We have reporters on the ground. We're working this story from a variety of different sources and a variety of different angles. So as soon as we get more information, you can see that there's an armored vehicle that has now come into the area here. An armored tactical response vehicle from the Chicago Police Department is now moving into the neighborhood. So obviously they're very interested in advancing on whoever may be either holed up or actively moving around in the general vicinity of where the shooting took place this afternoon. Those of you who may be watching who would normally be visiting or coming back down to this area tonight, be ready for extensive police cordons and blocks in every direction and heavily armed officers on the street. We will be bringing you live continuous coverage here and streaming coverage as soon as the situation warrants. As soon as we get more information, we will put all of that current information here on the live stream. And of course, on our regularly scheduled newscast tonight at 10 o'clock, we will endeavor to bring you all of the information as it develops. That's part of what we're doing right now. This is a live look. This is a scene right now. 6400 South in the city, about 64th and Paulina, also about 64th and Bishop. So this is up and down along 64th. And that's where the vast majority of law enforcement activity is taking place right now, and also about a block or so either side around Paulina and around Bishop. We also have law enforcement aircraft overhead. I want to thank you for tuning in tonight. I'm Chris Habermill in Chopper 2, and we will be circulating around the area and developing this story from the air and on the ground. And as soon as we get more information, we will bring it right to you. Thank you for tuning into the CBS News live stream, CBSN, and also our commercial broadcast tonight at 10 o'clock on CBS News Chicago. I don't think so. They still talking on frequency there, Mike? Yeah. Those of you who may be tuning in just now, Chris Habermill from Chopper 2 again. We got the Lake County, Indiana Sheriff's Police in the air helping out their brothers and sisters on the ground, law enforcement. Also, the federal government is over top, the FBI, and as well as the Cook County Sheriff, along with the Chicago Police Department, shared helicopter there. So we have multiple air units. You can see Midway Airport through our telephoto lens way in the background there. They are circulating around the area using special scanning equipment and techniques to look for the offender or offenders that were involved in the officer that was shot this afternoon along 64th, about Paulina on the city's south side. So we're watching that from the air and on the ground, and we will have the latest on the live stream and on our regularly scheduled newscast tonight at 10 p.m. Go take a tilt down and look back along 64th there. It's basically a block north of the park right there. So you see the big green space back there. Upper left. Yeah, there's, you see the green space. Now upper right corner. You see the green space. Upper middle. Now to the right. To the right. Right in there. There you go. I know CPD was down very low. They were down by the rooftops earlier. They were. Yeah, I can hear you, Danny. Yeah, I got that one. We saw it go by, but that's in the restricted area. They got a TFR up over the top, so we're not going to be able to actually get eyes on that operation. But we did see the truck go by, and we have talked about it. Oh, Superintendent Brown is now talking.
Ran toward, and the location where the offenders may have run through. And we have helicopters up, and we have officers setting up perimeter to try to capture this offender. We're also running the license plate of the car that crashed that the offenders were driving to contact those persons at that location where the license registration comes back to. This is a fluid situation. This is as much as we know. Our officers' condition is critical but stable at this point. And we just ask that we all pray for our officers' full recovery. I'll update you as soon as I know more information, okay? Thank you very much. We're not going to be able to answer many more questions. Stable. Pay attention. Critical but stable. Thank you.
Where was the officer hit, please?
We're not going to be able to answer that, okay? Thank you very much.
I'm looking for something right now. Well, they had a chase going on close by here. Yeah, he's critical but stable. Apparently it was a traffic stop. All right. Yeah, my one phone that works up here is out of battery. It's done. So apparently they tried to effect a traffic stop, and the offenders, instead of slow down, moved over and came up alongside the squad and opened fire on them. So it hit the driver, the driving officer, the passenger officer. They switched positions, and he got him over to the University of Chicago. And the offenders ran off.